Hi everyone, welcome to Soul Strokes. As I let these brush strokes spill soft colors across the paper today, let me tell you a story about someone I once worked with. So there was this guy I knew from work, not a very good friend, but someone who quietly stays in your memory because of an incident or because something about them never made sense. His name was Raghav. Now, if you saw him from the outside, you would think that this man has cracked life's code. Good salary, sharp dresser, always calm, always smiling, never complained about anything. The kind of person that HR uses in the brochures to show healthy work culture. And weirdly, everybody trusted him. Managers trusted him, friends trusted him, even office gossip somehow never touched him. But there was one thing about him that nobody understood. Raghav never rushed. He never rushed in traffic, not during deadlines, not even during emergencies. Once the entire office was panicking because a client presentation got deleted 2 hours before the meeting. People were literally sweating. One guy almost cried. And Raghav, he got up, completely cool-headed, made coffee, sat down, started rebuilding the deck slide by slide. No drama, nothing motivational, just steady. One day, during lunch, someone finally asked him, "Bro, how are you so sorted always? What's your secret?" Then he said something strange. Because I know exactly how expensive one bad decision can become. That line stayed with me. At that point, we all assumed he meant financially, like loans or investments or career mistakes, normal adult things. But months later, I found out what he actually meant. And honestly, it changed the way I look at life. See, before joining our company, Raghav used to work somewhere else, another city, different team. Back then, he was the opposite person. Hyper ambitious, always in competition, always chasing the next thing. He used to brag about sleeping for 4 hours at night. Used to say things like, "I'll rest when I'm rich." Classic hustle culture hero. Then one night after work, his father called him. Apparently, his mother had been asking him to visit home for weeks. Nothing serious, she just missed him. But Raghav had a meeting next morning, a big one, promotion discussion and stuff. So he told himself he'll go next weekend. Simple decision, tiny decision. 1 week later, his mother died from a sudden brain hemorrhage. No warning, no hospital drama, nothing cinematic. She was just there one evening, gone the next morning. And the worst part, the last thing she had apparently told his father was, "Don't pressure him to come, he sounds tired." When he told me this story, he wasn't emotional while saying it. That's what made it worse. He said it like someone reading weather updates. And then he said something I swear I'd never forgotten. People think life gets ruined by huge mistakes. Most lives are ruined very politely, one postponed moment at a time. That line hit me harder than anything I'd heard in years, because suddenly I started remembering all the tiny things we delay thinking they don't matter. Calling our parents, replying to friends, apologizing first, going for that health checkup, taking one day off, sleeping on time, visiting grandparents, playing with your kid without checking your phone. We think life breaks through explosions, but most of the time, it breaks through erosions, slowly, silently. And here's where the story took another turn. After his mother passed away, Raghav became obsessed with one thing: attention. Not attention from people, attention towards life. He started noticing things nobody else noticed. He would leave office on time even during busy weeks, not because he was lazy, because he believed exhausted people slowly become careless with what actually and truly matters. He never used headphones while talking to his father, never checked emails during dinner, never multitasked during conversations. At first, we thought he had become too emotional. But over time, something strange happened. His relationships became stronger, his work became better, his health improved, people trusted him more. Meanwhile, everyone else around him kept burning out while pretending they were grinding. And one day, he explained the difference in a sentence so simple it almost annoyed me. He said, "Most people are not living intentionally, they are just reacting fast." That was it. That was the entire difference. People react to notifications, react to trends, pressure, comparison, and FOMO, react to fear of missing out. And after years of reacting, they wake up one day with a life they never consciously chose. That sentence genuinely disturbed me because he was right. Most people today don't even sit alone long enough to hear their own thoughts anymore. Everything is instant. Instant anger, instant opinions, instant relationships, instant breakups, instant success advice from people who are secretly miserable. And somewhere in all this speed, people have lost reverence for ordinary moments. That's the word he used, reverence. He said, the quality of your life depends on what you treat casually. God, that line. Because it's true. If you casually disrespect sleep, your body pays. If you casually ignore family, your relationships pay. If you casually consume negativity, your mind pays. If you casually lie to yourself, your future pays. Nothing comes immediately. That's why people continue. Consequences arrive quietly, months later, years later. And by then, people call it fate. The craziest part? Raghav never became some monk after this. He still continued to work hard, still earned well, still had goals. But he stopped worshipping urgency. That changed everything. You know what's funny? Today everyone talks about self-love, healing, boundaries, mental health, motivation and whatnot. But almost nobody talks about attention. And honestly, attention may be the real currency of life. Whatever you repeatedly give attention to eventually becomes your reality. Give attention to outrage, you become angry. Give attention to shallow validation, you become insecure. Give attention to meaningful work, people, discipline, health. Your life slowly transforms. Not overnight, but quietly. Like roots growing underground before a tree appears. And maybe that's the problem. People only respect visible growth. Nobody respects invisible growth anymore. Not patience, consistency, or emotional maturity, even reliability. But those are the exact things that create beautiful lives. Not viral moments. At the end of that conversation, I asked Raghav something. I said, if you could tell people one thing after everything that has happened to you, what would it be? He thought for a few seconds and then he smiled and said, stop waiting for life to become important. And honestly, I think that's one of the greatest things anyone has ever told me. And with that beautiful thought, I'll wrap up for today and I'll see you in my next Soul Stroke.